So there's certainly a lot of bullshit being flung around in modern times. There are so many conflicting versions of the truth that it's almost impossible to get a solid grip of exactly what is going on in the world and exactly what is happening and why and who's doing it and things like this. But every now and then there's something that comes along that just shatters all the misconceptions. And it's often a piece of art that just breaks through all the bullshit. And this clip that I'm about to show you will stop the majority of the world dead in their tracks if they saw it. And they would be forced to bear witness to the brutal truth. Okay, so that clip that I just showed was part of a longer animation called In Shadow, which I'll put a link to in the description. You should definitely watch it. It's an incredibly good animation and very confronting, and whoever put it together certainly knows more than their prayers. So it's a great depiction of how just about everything has been co-opted in the modern world, especially from the normie who's completely unaware of any of it. Becoming aware of this stuff is often a brutal and confronting experience, and I think it couldn't have been better depicted than in that In Shadow. So governments around the world have proven themselves to be reckless control freaks who lie to us and constantly overstep the line. They tell us bodies are piling up in the hospitals, while hospital staff report empty hospitals, and they post well-choreographed and well-rehearsed dancing routine videos all over the internet. The kind of restrictions that have been imposed upon most of us recently should have caused a revolution. These restrictions are causing revolutions in some places, but it really should be more widespread. I think the comfort economy is slowly going away for many of us, and the middle class is just about dead, or it soon will be. We're entering a global communist economy, it would seem. I've heard people refer to Bill Gates as now Bill Kill Gates, or just Kill Gates. Kill Bill. We're now introducing Apple and Google tracking apps. Australia's doing this. I'm not sure how many other countries are doing it, but I think a lot are. Australia is introducing voluntary for now that you sign up to a Google and Apple tracking app, and it'll do some bullshit related to COVID that makes you feel good about being tracked because you're a fucking moron. I can tell the standard answer that people are going to give to justify this to themselves is that they've got nothing to hide. Yeah, sure, they've got nothing to hide, but yeah, that'll be the standard mantra that they all say as they sign up to get tracked, like dogs, like fools, like slaves. I saw a clip with Dan Pena, the $1 trillion man as he now calls himself, and he said basically if you haven't secured wealth by now over the coming months, you are fucked. Most people in business are fucked. Most business sectors are completely fucked. And I would listen to Dan Pena on that one because I think he knows what he's talking about. And I think he's probably right. This COVID thing that we're seeing, the media assault and the non-linear warfare with the 10 million different versions of the truth that all conflict so that you can never really figure it out to any exact degree. It's as they call it. I mean, it's like a black magic experiment that's going on here. That to outrageous success. This is way beyond anything that happened during 9/11. As Trump so succinctly put it, we're now dealing with an invisible enemy. People are scared of this invisible enemy too. It's the globalists' fucking wet dream. They're going to be wielding this invisible enemy like a flaming sword for as long as they can. So at this point, you got to wonder, what exactly do we get from obeying these people's orders? It seems like we mostly get it up the arse. That's what we get. So I think we really need to tell everyone that this is bullshit. Like, even if there is a virus, with the numbers that they've got, it's completely unjustified for them to destroy the economy in the way that they have and take away our most basic civil rights. We need to tell people that this is bullshit. You need to share all the videos out there that show why this is bullshit. We need to work on beating the algorithm. Human sharing can do a lot of damage. It's also time for everyone to start looking into black market economies. I know Monero in crypto is particularly popular in the black market. Maybe you should look into it. I know I will be. We also need to look at alternative sites and platforms. YouTube's still the go-to, but I think there will be more. There'll be more people looking for alternatives, and there will be bigger audiences and such on the alternative sites. You also need to focus more on disobeying the rules. Start realizing that all of our governments are hostile to us, and that obeying the rules is actually, at this point, being a part of the problem. You need to disobey the rules wherever you can. And at this point, just going for a walk out in public is disobeying the rules. So obviously they shouldn't be stopping us doing that, and they have no jurisdiction to do so. This is all bullshit. So on a long timeline, it would be nice to see people ignoring the police and then overpowering them. This is natural law, cosmic law. Don't worry too much about the man-made laws. They have been used to ruin everything. And the order followers that Mark Passio talks so much about are the real problem here. The police and military and such are now being used to enforce curfew and martial law, and it looks like it's going to get even worse in the future with more restrictions. So people really need to start disobeying and breaking the rules now, because it's only going to get worse. Also, people putting out valuable messages, counter to the status quo, need support. They need money. They need people to share their videos, because there's really not that many people out there putting out good content. Obviously, the more support they get, the more people will be encouraged to do the same. So that's all very important. It doesn't hurt to go around spray painting messages and putting up posters everywhere. Things like, maybe the government is lying to you about COVID-19. How about something like that? Or the government is lying to you, or the government doesn't care about you, or I saw a good one the other day in the city, we are all slaves. If people see these messages everywhere they look, it will sink in. So I'd say it's about time to, if you knew that you were about to witness the rise of a new Soviet Union, what would you do to prepare for that? I think it's time to start thinking more like an anarchist, a militiaman, even a mafia. So yeah, I think this is it really. This is what it comes down to. Obeying the rules has got us nowhere. Doing as the government tells us to has gotten us absolutely nowhere, except now locked in our houses, and a lot of people are not even allowed to go to work. It's insane. It's time to push back in a very serious way, and the main way that you can do that is just stop following the rules. It would be great to go in and start killing everyone, hang the government, and all that good stuff. But all you really need to do is stop following their rules, stop paying them your money, stop doing what you're told, all that. I think it was all there in Rage Against the Machine, right? They said it in the 90s. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. That's all you need to know. That should be your attitude from now on. So, David Icke on London Real there with Brian Rose. Now, Thomas Sheridan suggested that maybe Brian Rose used David Icke, stitched him up with this connection to 5G causes COVID or some shit, and that was all a big stitch up. It was one magician being taken advantage of by a slightly sneakier, slightly more devious magician. And I don't think that's exactly true, but I would say that yes, Brian Rose took full advantage of the opportunity to promote his own stuff. But I don't really see a problem with that. And it looks to me like London Real has some pretty good people on. Like, they've got David Icke, but they also had Bruce Lipton. They've had some other people. I mean, I don't really know too much about it, but it looks alright to me. And then there's a clip here of Brian Rose basically saying, fuck YouTube. He's like, I don't need YouTube. I can get more views without them. And I like the attitude. That's the attitude that people should have. And a lot of people don't have the reach and the amount of wealth and connections that Brian Rose has. But he's basically making out that he's considering using his own video platform here. And it seems like maybe he's talking about taking YouTube on. And I would say that's a really good thing. And I would put a challenge to Brian Rose that he should take YouTube on. He should launch a video sharing platform that strictly adheres to the ideal of free speech, and then he gives people the opportunity to monetize it, share all that. As long as the videos are running smoothly, he should be able to get lots of people to join the site. And who knows, maybe he could take a large market share of YouTube. Why not? So I think Brian Rose should give this a crack. I know he's got big plans for the future. What could be a bigger plan than taking on YouTube? So alright, the gauntlet has been thrown, Rose. Your move. So I've seen a few videos as well by a Norwegian guy called Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen. It's a shame about the feminist last name, but that happens. I know that I certainly miss the Thulian Perspective channel. I mean, he's got a Twitter channel, but it really doesn't. It's not the same. But there is this guy, Bjorn Bull Hansen, who is something of a Thulian replacement. This guy looks like he's in the same genetic pool as Varg for sure. He's probably like a distant cousin of Varg's or something. A much less crazy version. But this guy has good value. He seems to have a good channel, and I think it's worth checking out. Probably most of you already know about it. But yeah, as we don't have the Thulian Perspective, it's still good to get some of that Norwegian wisdom every now and then. Also saw there was a appearance of my main man, Apollonian Germ, on JF's channel. JF Gurapy, or whatever it is. Gay Rapey. JF Gay Rapey, I think that's how you pronounce it. And Apollonian Germ and JF were talking about aliens and the mysticism behind their insanity. And probably a good watch. Germ's certainly going through that information, and he knows what he's talking about. So maybe, yeah, if you're interested, maybe check out the Apollonian Germ on JF talking about aliens. I've also seen there's some pretty good music coming out of Australia these days, with some really authentic Aussie characters putting out the music, and I think it's some of this stuff is genuinely hilarious, and I might probably feature some of this music on my channel in the future. I also understand that I have very diverse music tastes, and I listen to just about everything, so some of the music I play on this channel is going to piss some people off, but you should always appreciate that other people are going to really like it. That said, there are 3 acts in particular that I've noticed lately: 2 punk rock and 1 DJ. Now, firstly, we have a band called The Chats, who I think have already blown up, but if they haven't, they certainly will soon. And just genuine Aussie shit going on there, with a pretty damn good band. And it pretty much doesn't get more Australian than The Chats. Until maybe we come to Amel and the Sniffers, who's a punk band I come across recently, who has a female lead singer that's very similar to like an Iggy Pop. It's basically an Australian female Iggy Pop in an extremely Australian punk band, and basically everyone who's Australian has got mates that look like these guys somewhere, or has had mates that look somewhere like these guys somewhere along the line, and some pretty authentic punk rock, coming out of these guys. It sounds just like the 1970s. There's also the Australian sex icon, Party Boy 69, who's a white boy DJ who plays like ghetto house and Detroit house and all that kind of shit. And he's quite a character. He reminds me a lot of a guy that I went to high school with. And he's an absolute clown. And he's like a living human meme. And I found this guy when not many people knew about him. But yeah, he's starting to blow up now. And I think this guy will be huge. But he's absolutely ridiculous in all the right ways. How about, he's so ridiculous that you take him seriously. How about that? So I might feature some of these guys and their music in the future, but I think it's well worth checking out. There's something happening in Australia. There's a lot of groundbreaking acts coming out of here, and that's really good. Alright, so as I mentioned in a previous video, I also have a new website. That website is called dr.frazani.com. That will be like a home base. I'll be linking all my other channels and stuff to there. I'll post content up there. I'm also offering some services. So if you or anyone you know is requiring any of the services that I list on my website, please tell them to get in contact with me. Email is the best option. That is dr.frazani@protonmail.com. The services I'm offering are graphic design, video editing, audio and music production, songwriting, writing, website design. People have been asking me how to do several things lately, so I'm thinking about offering some online courses. I'll also be asking for donations, so I'll have a place where anyone can offer me financial report. There'll be cryptocurrency as an option. Yeah, there'll be plenty more happening with the website over the coming months, I'm sure. Alright, so I've got some surprise music coming soon. I had a crack at making some synthwave, so I made a track called Kill Zorg, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that. I'll be posting that soon, so there'll be more videos coming. And I'm pretty sure this channel has been somewhat shadow banned, so be sure to share my videos and repost them if you want to. Put links to my videos everywhere. And to help the channel grow, about the only way we can grow channels these days is sharing videos and doing interviews with people. So if you know anyone who you think I would interview well with, tell them to interview me or something similar. Like get the ball rolling. And that's about the only way we're going to be able to grow this channel into the future. Alright. Watch out for the golems out there. Watch out for fake viruses and invisible enemies. And I'll catch you later.